Hi, I'm Kenny, and welcome to Black Iron Tribe.
Giving you up, no, no, I ain't giving you up. I said love and try, giving you up, no, no, I ain't giving you up. Give love and try, giving you up, no, no, I ain't giving you up, no, more than I'm giving you up, no, no, I ain't giving you up, no. She's a roller coaster, oh she's so flame. I'm burning up inside, but I can feel no pain. I won't try to stop her, she can't be tamed. I'm so in love with her, I fall and try again. Get up and try, get up and try again. Get up and try again. Get up and try again.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Black Iron Tribe. This is Kenny E. Getting ready for a big ride tomorrow morning, 4.5 hours along the Silver Comet Trail in Georgia. And was going to just go through, I mentioned in a previous video that it takes a lot to get ready for one of those rides. So I like to do that the night before. I'm going to kind of walk you through what I do. Not every step, so I don't bore you to death, but just so you know. One of the things I do is I actually create a list. I made a list and I've kind of got it memorized, but I still like to pull it out and refer to it because even the best folks and the most professional triathletes and athletes in general can forget stuff when they're going to travel to actually work out. So it helps to have a list together. So I'm going to show you that list and then I'm going to go through and walk through and show you all the stuff that I've put together for tomorrow's ride. So here's the list. And I've tried to capture everything I'm going to need for my ride tomorrow. You can see the list starts off with bike. And it may seem silly, but I have heard stories of triathletes, professional triathletes, showing up for races without their bike. You are so, especially a race day, you are so stressed out and so nervous or whatever before the race. Doing something like forgetting your bike is not unthinkable. So it can happen. So I try to put everything on here we're going to need. And so let's walk through it here. First thing on the list, of course, is the bike. This is my tri bike. It's a Quintana Roo PR5. It's about 4 years old. And if you guys haven't guessed it now, purple's my color. I love purple. This, I run no flats, or I'm sorry, not no flats, tubeless tires, which tend to be, don't get as flat as often as other tires, other ways of running your bike. We'll get into that in a minute. Anyway, so the bike's on the list, and then the next thing I have is helmet. So this is especially important for racing. You cannot race in a sanctioned race without a helmet. In fact, when you're doing triathlon and you get into transition, you're moving from the swim to the bike, they generally say you can't even touch your bike until you have your helmet on. It is a safety thing. You definitely want to wear one. You very seldom go out to where you see a lot of cyclists that don't have on a helmet. You'll see it every now and then. I'd go as far as to say those aren't cyclists. Those are bike riders. And just don't recommend it. Don't recommend riding without one. But anyway, it's on the list. And then next is cycling shoes. I won't be wearing those to drive to my location, so it's important that they're on the list and they make it into the bag. Then we've got the chamois cream. All right. Without getting too crazy about it, we'll just say this is for the nether regions and highly recommended on longer rides. It is a lotion of sorts that you put in between your legs, and this is for men and women. And it helps to guard against chafing because you're going to be, back and forth with the legs all day on a little seat. This stuff is good. So I actually put some on before I leave under my kit, and then I actually take a small one for longer rides to re-up, frankly. So keep it in mind and definitely use it. Next is the heart rate monitor, HRM. I actually have it split into a strap and a monitor because mine are split. Some are not. Some the monitor is integrated into the strap. I've just had better luck with a separate monitor because I can wash that strap by itself without necessarily endangering the electronics in the monitor. Next is my bike computer. So my bike computer, oh, it's actually upside down, is attached to my headlight. I bought a headlight that you could actually attach the bike computer to. That way, not only do I remember them both, but if I need a headlight, I've got it. It's a pretty slick design, pretty streamlined, and it works out well. So I've got a cooler that I'll put in my bottles on the way. In hot weather, it's nice to have your drinks be as cold as possible. You know, most of the bottles they sell now are insulated, or you can get your hands on insulated bottles. In my opinion, the insulation works. It's not that great, but every little bit helps. And then I carry other stuff in this cooler for when I have to refuel, like I'll have to do tomorrow. Okay. So I mentioned tail light on the list. That's actually integrated into my bento box on the back of my bike. So that red light on top of the box and that cover, which I also have on my list, bento box cover, that comes off. Now I've got it taped on because, I'm sorry, QR, I love my bike, but the bento box top that's on that thing falls off all of the time. So I've started taping it with some electrical tape. Fortunately, the black electrical tape kind of matches, doesn't mess with the look too much. But inside there, I carry only tubes because that box is hard to take off, especially with these bottle holders on the back. So I try to just put stuff in there that way I don't have to remove the box in case I need to get in there for tools and stuff. As you can see, I have a frame-mounted tool bag that I carry other stuff in. We'll go over that in a quick second here. Then nutrition. I carry 4 bottles on my bike. We'll go back to the bike and take a quick look at that. So I carry 2 down in the middle of the frame and then 2 on the back. And again, this is because I sweat a lot, and having enough fluid on board is important, more important than saving a couple of pounds or a pound or whatever they turn out to be. So in my 4 bottles, I carry 2 bottles with calories in it, with carbs, and 2 bottles with water and just electrolytes. And then after I do a 2-hour loop, I go back to my car and refill those. So I actually carry a jug of water with me as well so that I can refill. Part of my nutrition includes my sodium intake. So one of the things that you learn when you are training and is what's going to work in actual race. I actually like to put in these salt sticks. I open these up. They're little capsules. I open them up and I dump the contents into my electrolyte bottles. What I found in actual training is that when I go to refuel, those tablets are slick because those things can actually dissolve in your stomach. So when you touch them with wet hands, you can't pull them apart. They just slip around in your fingers. And so trying to get that open and dumped into my sodium box my sodium bottles for my second loop doesn't work out. So I'm going to be trying something different tomorrow. I'm taking my pickle juice, which I keep a stash of that. And an equivalent of, let's say, 6 salt sticks is 1.5 of those bottles. So I will put 1.5 of those pickle juice bottles in each of my sodium bottles, along with my Nun tablets, which you see here. And that'll be my sodium. I'm going to try that out. I have no idea what it's going to taste like. Yes, the electrolyte mix that I mix is very salty. It was salty. I like salt, but I need the sodium. A lack of sodium has cost me on more than one race in the way of cramps. By the time I get on the run, I'm cramping up. Even in the Chicago Marathon I ran, I was doing great for the first 7 miles, and then I just cramped up. And it dawned on me, I lose a lot of salt through my sweat. I'm not a heavy salt loser, or I don't lose a lot of salt per se per ounce, but I lose a lot of ounces. And you multiply that times the amount of salt I lose per ounce, I need to have a lot of sodium on board. So that's there. And then, of course, I have my carbs. My nutrition bottles, I try to do 100 carbs an hour. So I've got this Science and Sports Beta Fuel, which is 80 grams. Each goes in each bottle. And then these are about 22 grams of carbs each. So one of these and one of these gives me about 100 grams. I'm out for 4.5 hours tomorrow, so I'm taking a couple of extra gels for that extra half hour. Then of course we got the bottles, just calling them out, even though that's where I'm gonna be carrying my nutrition. Sunglasses are ready to go. Tools and tubes. So as I mentioned, I do carry backup tubes in my bento box, but I am also running tubeless tires. Now, tubeless tires, if you're not familiar with them, they're a little more complicated than they sound. It's not that you have a tire that runs without a tube. There's actually liquid that has to go inside that tire so that if you do get a puncture, the idea is that that liquid, when it hits air, it freezes up and will patch your hole on the go. So you don't hear about a lot of flats when people are using tubeless tires. The flip of that is it's a mess to work with. I do not personally fill my tires with that liquid. I take them to the shop, I have them professionally filled, and I refresh it once or twice a year to keep it full. I have not had a flat on these yet, but if you do, so I do carry tubes as backups in case I do get a flat that the liquid can't fix. I have some kind of a backup. And you'll hear this from triathletes and cyclists in general. You should know how to change a tire on your bike. You should know how to change a tube on your bike. Whether you run tubeless or not, you should be able to fix your own flats. That is the one thing that drives cyclists crazy if they're riding in a group, is somebody that doesn't know how to fix their own flat. It's easy to practice at home where you're not in the street and under any kind of pressure. Learn how to change your own tire. Learn how to fix your own flats so that when you're out on a ride, or more importantly, in a race. Recently saw a pro who lost a race, a guy who was a favorite to win. He lost the race because he got a flat and he didn't have the equipment. I'm pretty sure he knows how to change a flat. He didn't have the equipment to change his flat tire and ended up losing, then not winning first. He may have come in like third. He was that strong of an athlete, but he ended up losing. And the person who won made fun of him on his YouTube channel. I'm not saying any names in case any of these guys watch this stuff. I don't want to be on anybody's crap list. All right, another thing I have on here is camera with chip and battery. Of course, I'm using the camera right now. That's something that I added new as I've started to record shorts for IG and for YouTube. And then ID and cash. So you'll see here, I carry just the very basics, not my normal wallet. I have my driver's license. I have my insurance card for my health, and then a credit card, and then a little bit of cash. The idea is, and I throw them all in this plastic bag and throw them in the bag. And to date, I haven't run into an emergency where I absolutely needed it. I have gone, stopped at a convenience store and been able to buy some Gatorade or whatever. It just helps to have that on hand. Side note, I also run this label on my watch. It's probably upside down right now. But what this is a little badge that has my name on it, my wife and my sister's names and their phone numbers. In case of emergency, I'm in an accident, can't respond. It's just a backup ID for my safety. And then I've got my phone on here, which of course I use to get to where I'm racing now or riding. The final thing on here, which is not on my list, but I normally do a run after a long ride. As a triathlete, you want to get into the habit of getting off your bike after you've been on your bike for hours and then running, or walking and then running. But the idea, they call it a brick, and people have surmised that, or I think that maybe they call it that because your legs feel like bricks when you get off that bike and you try to run. But as part of practice, I do a 4.5 hour bike ride. I think tomorrow is calling for a 20-minute run. I've done 30-minute runs afterwards, and closer to the race, they'll probably expand into an hour run after getting off the bike. But that has to be on the list as well, my running shoes. So that'll do it. That's prep for tomorrow's ride. I've got the bike rack on the car. I'll pack all this stuff in a bag. I'll get some ice packs in the morning. Ideally, I leave my bottles in the fridge overnight so that they're cold in the morning. But I also don't want to forget them. But I'm very mindful about that in the morning. That's why I do this stuff the night before. So there's no rush. I've got everything planned out. I don't really have to think. I put on my kit. I throw on my running shoes. That's what I'll drive in. I'll have all my stuff in the bag. And then when I get ready to ride and refuel, I'm all set. So really recommend setting up the night before for big rides or any ride you have to travel to. For now, that's it from Black Iron Tri. Talk to you soon. Hey, remember, be fearless. That'll do it for today on Black Iron Tri. We'll see you next time. In the meantime, remember, you don't have to be fastest, just be fearless.
She's a roller coaster.